here we are, after months of waiting, and I can finally ask the most important question of the night. Who will?
He will.
Will Smith
Gemini Man.
is the review today.
Yes, it is, and I'm very excited
Gemini
to talk
Man.
about it.
We've been. I'm not gonna say talking. We've been shit posting about this movie for like 2 months. If none of you have seen our Gemini Man very official trailer that Will Smith let us drop on the channel, go check it out.
Yep.
He definitely sent it to us.
He sent it to us personally. He was like, "It's Gemini Man time."
Yep.
That's
Like
hot.
how it's rewind time.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yep.
So
We
I
saw
don't want to
Gemini-
start because I have a lot
What were
to say.
what were our expectations going in?
I thought this movie was gonna be crap.
I thought it was gonna be okay.
I thought it was gonna be mid.
Yeah.
Like, I straight up was like, it's probably gonna be fine.
I didn't think it was gonna be fine. I thought it was gonna be very problematic.
So
I was not
overall,
sold on it.
overall thoughts?
It met my expectations.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
No,
it was
wasn't.
it was all right. I think it was really decent. Although my watching of it was hampered by a thought process I have throughout the entire thing. It's a way I watched this movie. I didn't plan on watching this movie this way, but as soon as I got like 5 or 10 minutes in, more or less the train shot scene right at the beginning of the movie, I kept thinking to myself, "Oh, he just has the abilities of Deadshot." And as the movie progressed, I can now confirm the clone of Will Smith in this movie, the young Will Smith, grows up to be Deadshot in Suicide Squad.
That's what I literally
Ian
looked
made a
over
very
to
similar
Mud
joke
and
to
said, "Is he just Deadshot?"
Perfectly. And I'll tell you why. It's not just because of the same actor, not just because they have the same abilities, but the theme and message of this movie, according to his character specifically, is that you don't have to be raised to only be an assassin sniper. You can grow up, go to meet someone, have a life, settle down. I propose that he did and he tried, but because he has trained his whole life to be an assassin killer, he has that as a career and he can't stop being a criminal. So he becomes Deadshot, has a daughter, balances those lifestyles, which is the moral and theme of Deadshot's character in Suicide Squad, which lines up perfectly with the messages of this movie. And he tries to balance that life of being a criminal while being a dad to his daughter.
The only problem with that is both movies are set in the contemporary.
So Gemini Man happened maybe 5 or so years ago, and Suicide
No,
Squad is
that
far.
doesn't work.
Suicide Squad is further.
Contemporary, as in Gemini Man takes place in 2019, Suicide Squad takes place in 2016.
Well, maybe the DCEU is further into the future. Flash did the timeline stuff in that movie anyway. It's
sure,
fine.
dear.
But
Whatever
in any
makes you
case-
like this movie more.
Honestly, with that in mind, and as the movie progressed, it only gave like
More,
further,
yeah, you're right.
further evidence, and I was like, I didn't expect it to, but it really lines up in a way that really made this more funny to me. So,
Oh, was this okay?
in that level, I can't give it below like a 7 or an 8. It's so fucking fun.
All right, well, there's Jake's score. So Ian,
Sorry,
let's talk about
that's
Gemini
my hot
Man.
take.
So,
I'm
no, we
sorry.
can talk about Gemini Man. Do we start positives or negatives, guys?
I guess positives is what I have less of.
I have less negatives. I like this movie.
I did not.
Okay, so we can talk about negatives first. Why not? We can go for it.
So we starting with negatives?
Yeah.
Sure.
The action sucked.
Yeah,
I love the action.
The terrible part.
The action at the beginning sucked, and then the action later on in the movie was actually more interesting.
Everything
disagree.
hand to hand was sick. I loved
Yeah.
it. It
I
felt
like the
brutal.
spin
I didn't
kicks.
like it. I didn't like
It
it.
felt visceral and brutal. It had like the Matrix choreography, but it had like the motion blurs in
It-
the arms to make it more impactful, I feel.
It did not feel very brutal when Will Smith takes the tire of a dirt bike to the
Yeah,
face
that
and
fight
gets up
sucked.
with just a little bit of scuff.
That was bullshit. Didn't
Yes,
like
that fight sucked.
Yeah, or
That's
like
what I mean by the
when,
beginning.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead gets her face put through a glass window.
Yeah, that
In
felt
wood, glass
unrealistic.
and wood, and there's nothing. Or when they're going up against guys in full tactical armor, and I can believe Will Smith could do this, but like Mary Elizabeth Winstead has shown no prowess with any sort of firearm.
She,
the entire movie.
they mentioned she was in the Navy once.
Okay, cool. She was in the Navy once.
I can see
A
it
lot of
actually.
people were
All of
in
those
Navy.
points. You have excellent points there. I actually can't disagree. I would just say that I really did enjoy stuff like the catacombs fight between Will Smith and
That was a
Catacombs
good fight.
fight is one
Yep.
of the better fights in the movie.
It's like a 5-minute sequence too. It's so good. One kind of big negative actually.
The dialogue sucked.
Dialogue did suck.
It was cliche, but it's nothing
It was
like
more than
sucked,
cliche. It was
yeah.
flat.
It wasn't offensively bad to me, but
Oh, it wasn't like, haha, this movie is the worst dialogue, but it just wasn't good.
There was no creativity in it. Everything was super generic, and I was like, I feel like I'm watching any action movie from like the 90s when the script was conceived, where it's like a rogue agent on the run from the law.
it does feel like a 90s script.
Yep.
It
Yeah,
really does.
and that's fine, like cool throwback nostalgia. But when you go for the contemporary, it doesn't always work because like then there are scenes where it's like, Why'd you jerk off in class, kid? Because science is wicked boring. What the fuck?
It's wicked mad boring, dude. That fucking guy.
That wasn't the problem.
He was definitely jerking.
He said wicked mad boring.
No. The thing before that line.
Oh, who cares? I don't care the reason.
He was beating his dick in
I don't
science
care.
class.
Shut up. I don't care the reason why he was in the principal's office.
I care that it wasn't beating his dick.
Oh, I don't care. The point is, like, nobody speaks the way some of these characters speak sometimes. Like, at the very beginning of the movie when, like, Clive Owen and the lady are talking.
Oh, yeah, that
and
was
it's, like, we need to do the thing to get rid of this man. But doing the thing will cause irreparable, ergo vis-a-vis concordantly. I don't care. I'm not going to get any sort of clearance because I'm speaking far too vague to really be anything other than movie dialogue.
I agree completely.
No, the dialogue wasn't
It's
there.
a really weird thing that I'm trying to hide the premise of this movie.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. A lot of it did seem really cliche. Like, there wasn't a whole lot in here that we haven't seen before, except
Will Smith.
Will Smith versing Will Smith, like, as far as interactions go, that's rarely done. Like, it's done a few times.
That's another thing. I feel like younger Will Smith turns way too fast.
No,
He has one interaction with his older self. Goes back, talks to Clive Owens, and then switches sides.
But his older self is him, but 30 years later. Like, that's damning evidence.
I get that. It felt like there was a section.
it felt like something got cut.
Yeah, it felt like there was a middle part that got cut where we see more of his inner turmoil and him deciding to do this.
Fair, but, like, actually, I thought the reverse. Why didn't he see Will Smith in the mirror earlier and go, oh, that's Will Smith. I'm Will Smith. Where's Will Smith? Like, you should have seen Will Smith.
Well, first off, it's
He's
easier
Will
to
Smith, I'm Will
recognize
Smith.
your younger self compared to your older self.
Fair.
He doesn't know what he looks like old. And even if he saw it, he was probably like, nah, I didn't see that.
But then, like, you get him in the catacombs, and she explains the cloning thing, and then Will Smith shows up and aims the flashlight at him, and is
Look at
like,
me, dummy.
Look at me, dummy.
Oh, that was a terrible
That was a great line.
I'm surprised that the dummy didn't look at him and go, oh, yeah, Will Smith. Like, I don't... to me, it's
Look
like...
at me, dummy.
Literally night and day. Like, you look, there's like a wide shot of the two of them staring at each other, and it's the poster.
same guy,
It looks just like the poster, and it's two Will Smiths, and one of them's like, "You're not me, I'm not you." Like, bitch, the fuck you aren't.
I'm not you, old man.
Like, literally, like, he looked more like Will Smith than Jaden Smith, and he's about Jaden Smith's age.
The best part is, okay, spoilers, if that hasn't been clear enough already. There's a third Will Smith in this movie, which I called before we saw the movie. I was like, there's going to be a third Will Smith. I can feel it. He looks so much like Jaden.
Yeah? Because it was supposed to be younger, even.
Yeah,
So.
well, I get that, fathers and sons look a lot alike, but I was
Yep.
like, God damn, that's just Jaden.
Yep.
It's just weird Jaden Smith with
Why didn't they
superimposed.
just
strange.
get Jaden for this movie?
Nah, he sucks.
I thought
I mean,
about
aside
that,
from the
about,
obvious.
like, getting him to body double him to make it easier, but I feel like it wouldn't make it easier much.
No,
Because
it
you still have to
wouldn't.
CG recreate his head, which I will talk about in a moment. But
yeah, there was another big
Soundtrack.
huge-
Oh my god, it was so generic. Remember the action drums?
Remember how I didn't remember any of the music?
Oh,
I remember my big fucking negative. It's right at the beginning of the movie. Will Smith realizes he's being tracked because he sees the sun reflect off a fucking satellite.
yeah, that was really bad.
What the fuck?
was that a I thought that was a drone.
Nope, it was a
No,
satellite.
it was a satellite in space.
I don't think it was a space
They
satellite.
comped
because you
back
can't
out.
you can't record audio from a satellite.
There was a wire.
Okay, I
On
thought
his
I
boat.
thought it
That
was a
the-
drone
yeah.
with the the little cones that record sound from really far.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of those.
No, it seemed like a satellite to me,
I
dog.
don't think the movie thought it was a satellite.
Either way, I found that ridiculous.
It was pretty
Yeah.
fucking funny.
Because
It's pretty
like
stupid.
in the broad fucking daylight, cuts to a clear sky, and you just see like Team Rocket blasting off again, just doing, and I'm like, what the fuck was that?
There was the beginning of this movie was not good.
No,
like
it
I
wasn't.
can just say the editing was really choppy. The dialogue was
Scenes get
very
cut.
expository.
Like there's a scene where Will Smith asks Mary Elizabeth Winstead a question, and then it cuts.
Yeah, it's
It's like, well, fuck me. I guess the answer was.
it takes a little bit to get the ball rolling. Like I'd say 45 minutes to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, well, when the movie's only an hour 57 with credits, that means you're looking at a movie that's less than an hour long,
Yeah,
or exactly an hour.
takes a little bit to get the ball rolling.
I'm not saying this just because of my Deadshot thing, but like I really did like this movie. Like overall, I think it has a lot going for it, and a lot of these negatives I'm hearing, I either didn't hamper my enjoyment overall of the movie, or didn't really stand out to me as a negative. Like the dialogue, of course, it's cliche. It's an action movie. It's not John Wick, so it's not going to be like the second coming of Christ as far as writing. You know what I
See,
mean?
but even then, I've seen action movies that have decent writing that aren't John Wick.
Yeah.
They're few and far between. They're like, I don't know. This is the kind of genre that very much borrows from itself over and over again.
Which gets me back to my point of, if this movie is just 10 other better movies thrown into one and mediocre, why don't I watch a better movie?
I agree with that, but I don't know if this is 10 other better movies. This is a few.
Well, I have a very good way to transition into positives.
Okay.
And it's the transition shots, and a lot of the shots in this movie in general are really
There's
nice.
some really good
There's
shots.
some really nice shots in this movie.
Absolutely.
Remember at the beginning with the bend around the train? That was an awesome shot.
Absolutely.
Like the
So
woof, woof.
trippy.
It was really nice.
They just slapped a fisheye lens on the side of a railroad track, and I was like,
I say it's a negative that he spent so much time lining up that sniper gun perfectly in position and then looked at him and then swiveled it and then shot it. Because if you're timing it perfectly within 6 inches from 2 kilometers away, which they said, you can't swivel and then shoot it. There's no...
Well, you see, he's the best.
He is
He's
Deadshot.
Deadshot.
That's a good point. But
You're going to be a hell of a mercenary, kid. Best in the galaxy.
best in the galaxy, apparently. But in any case, I really did like the directing overall. I loved the cinematography, like we got talking about the shots and stuff like that.
There were a lot of weird shots. So there's a lot of, like, reverse shot, but it's not done in any sort of interesting way. Every character is center of frame Wes Anderson style, like, looking just to the right of the camera.
I think it's interesting, but it's really weird. There was a lot of shots where everything just seemed Compton in this movie.
Yeah, there was one shot me and Ian were talking about where, like, there's a scene where, like, the sun's behind them and it's glowing in their hair, but their face is still very well lit. And
Yeah,
it's
and I'm like,
they
is
don't
that
look-
Compton?
Yeah.
There's a couple things. This is my main big negative. I know we turned this to positive. We didn't get to the negative in time, but there's two things. So first of all, this is kind of the main point of both things. They digitally recreated Will Smith's entire head for his young self.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't look that up. I could tell. Now,
Really?
how could I tell? What could give it away? When he hugs Mary Elizabeth Winstead, the roto around young Will Smith's ear is almost black compared to like the light hitting him in bright skin on both of them.
Oh,
There's
so at
like
the end?
a very clear line where it just hovers and it wouldn't interact. It's very apparent, and I'm shocked they lingered on that shot for like 3 or 4 seconds if they know that it doesn't look that good. But by far outdoing that is the laughable ending when they're all in perfect daylight. Now, the CG reconstruction of his head works really, really well for the rest of the movie in
'Cause it's
mostly
dark,
dark
yep.
settings where there's very minimal sources of light hitting the model so it doesn't look that fake. And then he walks out of class, and you can see right on the turtleneck where the placed-in fake Will Smith head just kind of hovers over it, and it's better done than Shazam when Zachary Levi flew, which is
Where his neck comes off his body.
hilariously bad.
So
But
funny.
they did the best with what they could, but at the same time, if you look at clips from Fast 7 with Paul Walker's recreated head
Or Peter Cushing's entire being recreated.
in Rogue One, exactly.
Or
It's-
young Carrie Fisher in Rogue One.
Yep.
exactly. It's been done better, and I'm not saying that's the gold
Young
standard.
Sam Jackson in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's the gold standard as far as CGI head recreations, but it certainly looked less fake. But I criticize more so the production design of putting that character, who you know is a complete CGI head model of Will Smith, in broad, as bright as possible daylight, like it's in a fucking Hallmark movie. Like, it's so fucking bright, and you just see his head float, and it's like, oh, if you took away the sun, this would actually look good again. But no, the sun's just out and about
Sun
at
is
noon.
down.
Yeah.
Freezing cold.
There's a lot of weird Compton stuff that I didn't see exactly what you're talking about, but there were some moments where I was like,
Yeah.
But
Will
the
Smith's
rest of the
head-
Will Smith, as apart from those scenes that are in really, really bright light, looked really convincing.
When younger Will Smith shows up, the movie gets way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I-
infinitely better.
I didn't hate the movie prior to that point, though. That's the thing.
I wasn't liking
I
it
wasn't
prior to
enjoying
that,
myself.
but that brought me back. Young Will Smith, when he starts fighting Will Smith,
Yes.
Yes.
Big fan of Will Smith
except
fighting
the
Will
bike
Smith.
fight. The bike fight sucked.
Yeah, it
Bike
did.
fight
And then
is
the rest of it
terrible.
is like, all right, I can get into
I
that.
got slapped in the face with a tire doing like 30.
Yeah.
He should probably be dead.
There's a
She should have
scene.
lost some teeth.
Should have
There's
died
an
a lot.
exact same shot of that scene in Lara Croft Tomb Raider: The Cradle of Life, or the first one, I don't remember, where she does the bike thing, breaks the front tire, spins around, and whacks someone in the head with her tire, snaps his neck and kills him. I didn't want to give that movie credit at all, but at least it's realistic compared to this.
Did we just give Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider
More credit, yes, than Gemini Man. That's how you know.
Yeah.
But
like
at the end of
that.
the day, for a lot of the points I've said, not just the Deadshot thing, I got to keep pointing that out. This is actually a really genuinely fun, entertaining movie for me.
I feel like the main actors were actually pretty decent. The people around them weren't perfect or great at all because the dialogue wasn't.
Yeah, like Will Smith and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, they were doing good. Their
Yeah.
dialogue was
With-
just shit.
With what they had, they did perfectly fine. They had good chemistry, like on-screen chemistry together, which is nice. Benedict Wong, he was there.
he
yes,
was.
Yes, he was.
I felt like he didn't do great, but he also wasn't one of the problems. I feel like the old guy at the beginning on the boat was like,
Oh, discount John C. Reilly.
yeah, he wasn't very good, but the main actors had really good chemistry, and I actually liked seeing them on screen and talking together. When young Will Smith shows up, like I mentioned, he's great. I like the character. I like his interaction with himself, like a
I
lot.
love that. That's what sold the movie for me.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
because
what's supposed to, generally.
he becomes a father figure for himself that he wishes he had, and it's like, that's
I feel like
very
they could
good.
have gone further into that concept.
I feel like
though.
they should have, but
If it didn't get bogged down by a lot of the shortcomings of the script, I think that could have been like a really nice, like character-driven thing.
yeah.
But I don't know. There's more you can do here.
Oh yeah, there's
I
definitely more
feel
you can
like
do here.
it's a lot of wasted potential.
Okay.
That's my takeaway
Well,
from it.
7 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
Okay, nice mixed reception.
I was gonna give it between a 5 and a 6, and overall, I had fun watching it. My wife is in it, gotta give me some credit.
I
I
mean,
didn't know you were cheating on Amelia Clark.
aside from
if
one of
I have
our
a chance with anybody,
guilty pleasure movies, this is a pretty mixed reception.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I like it.
definitely not top 10 worthy, but at the same time, I still had fun. It wasn't like the Goldfinch where I wanted to kill myself the whole time.